Hey, Brad.
Hello there. How are you doing?
Just fine, just fine. Mhm.
There we go. Not bad. Okay. We'll see who shows up today. Um, I just got in a little while ago, so I haven't been able to look at a list of who actually signed up for it.
Okay, okay. Got it, got it.
I can,
Will I be able to share my screen?
yes, you will. I'm just going to go in here and say multiple participants can share simultaneously. You should be able to go ahead and try to share. Make sure you've got access to that. Um,
Yeah, here it is.
I'm going
So,
to increase my volume a little bit so I can hear. All right. Should be good. I've got charging. Um, we should be good to go.
make-
Demas is coming in. People are going to come in. I'm just letting them come in. They'll come in muted, but we can always ask them to unmute. I figured that we would do our presentations and have a real open dialogue conversation. And let me minimize and I'll see if I can't see who all has signed up for this.
okay. Yeah, let me pull up.
Um,
Oh, shoot.
Zoom. Team chat.
I'm gonna try it again because I want to make sure I got the right deck. There you go. Okay. Is everybody gonna be from Oregon or the West Coast?
I think primarily Oregon and the West Coast at this point. That was who we reached out to, were
Oh,
all of our partners. Hello, Demas. How are you? So Demas is
Doing
still with
good,
the
man.
Warm Springs Community Action Team for a little bit. Demas meet Warren. Warren is U.S. Kiva Par. What he's got a big title. He's an important guy. And Demas is actually working on a Kiva U.S. loan as well. So
Demon's pleasure meeting you.
yeah.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm gonna hit the men's room. You guys have good time, and then we'll see what happens.
So you're in Warm Springs? Is that
Yeah, I'm down here. I work with the Warm Springs Community Action Team, like a small business coach.
okay?
Um, been teaching co-starters. We're wrapping one up next week. I did the TOT with Brad last year and done some cohorts with him in Burns and
Awesome.
maybe some in the future. So he's been Foundry Foundation's been pretty helpful. Um, Helping me. I'm a small business owner too, me and my wife as well. So kind of
Awesome.
learning and growing as I've been doing this job. And actually, I have about 25 days left to work, and then I'm gonna just go into full time on the business. So I've been here like almost 7 years and have grown the business in the last three. So it's kind of hard to teach it and not take them same steps that I'm teaching. So I have to move on and grow the business. Um, it'll do well. So Brad and I don't know if you know Misty, she's been helping quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So and there she is. Yep, she's there. So
That's actually pretty exciting knowing that you're about to do it full time. I mean,
mm,
I've taken the entrepreneurship path as well, and it's a self-fulfilling uh, goal to succeed as an entrepreneur. And the only way you really can do that is really to kind of release everything else and focus and give 200% attention to that business. So I'm
yeah,
excited for you. Yeah.
it's been hard. I mean, we've been 2 years hard because it the business itself is 60 hours a week plus regular work. I was just running myself into the ground. And
Yeah.
I had to make a decision, and then I think that taking the course actually helped because I knew where my numbers should be if I dedicated more time. So um, I'm
Awesome.
excited. I'm a little scared, but not that much.
You've been doing it for 2 years. You'll be okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
I haven't had to get loans, but you know, looking on small Kiva loan and then maybe something on later on. So that's where the fear is. But you know, it's a debt, just like a credit card or a car loan. So nothing too
Absolutely.
complicated.
But
Yeah.
but the thing about the Kiva loan, I mean, it's a great starter loan.
Mm.
It's not a high amount. It's at 0% interest, so you're making principal payments only. And then it allows you to show a payment record. So as you grow your business and find yourself needing much more capital, now you have a track record that allow you to go and get a much higher loan. So we love our borrowers, is what we call our Kiva clients. So we want to help you climb that capital ladder, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, I signed on early, Brad, just to make sure from a technical side, everything is working fine. So
Yeah, we should be good to go. We never exactly know, here with the rural. I'm actually in Burns, so I was a little worried about um internet, but
I have a
it all
better than
seems
a
to be
50-50
working.
chance and somebody will pop in and I might dip out of the meeting too. So
For now, can you?
And I'm just kind of getting some things going here. We are recording. We'll clip this off. We'll make sure the cleaned up recording gets out to everybody. We invited a lot of different people here. Well, hello, Gordon. How are you?
Good, good.
Hello, Misty.
we have Mark on here as well.
Mark is here. We have Lindsae's note takers.
She's
Good,
joined.
good. We need a note taker.
Pleasure to meet you early now.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Looking forward to learning more.
Awesome.
Masters of this. We're new kids on the block.
I'm trying to access our list. We had about 15 signups for this, so we will see. I want to kind of wait a few minutes as people log in. We won't really probably get started till, we'll give 3 or 4 minutes before we get started, Warren, and then I will introduce you. And from there, you'll be able to do your presentation. I have a short presentation about what Kiva Oregon is as a hub, and then answer questions. I see there's Phoebe is in the room. I'm still trying to figure out where I can see my list of potential attendees and where they're from.
Okay.
Haven't done one of these like this for a while, so kind of exciting.
yeah, Brad. Chris says hello.
Where is Chris? Where's he
He,
hanging out?
he was just behind me looking at you and waving.
Oh, okay.
There he is.
Hey,
Leaning over your shoulder.
We got the all-star team in the office today. So
Nice.
our
Yeah.
team.
That's you and Chris, right?
yeah.
Dustin's in there too. So.
Oh, say hi. Good. All right. Awesome.
But yeah, so good to see you. Looks like an important meeting happening right here.
We're trying to do some good things here, Chris, and you're a part of it. All of you folks are there.
Uh-oh, Phoebe's in the house too. Scary.
Hi there.
Yeah, good to see you. Misty, don't know everybody. Mark. Hi, Mark. Good to meet you.
Babies with Craft 3, right?
Yep. Nice to see y'all.
Hey, yeah, welcome.
I don't mean to hijack this meeting. I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. No.
Oh, you should be in this.
I'm actually in another meeting right now.
Oh,
But I just heard voices that I knew, so I came to say hello in this one.
awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to give it a couple more minutes. We've got a few other people that had emailed and said they were going to try to attend. And so Gonna give it a couple more minutes and then we'll kick this off and hand it over to Warren.
That was great. Thank you. I appreciate
Meanwhile,
it.
you guys can chat away, introduce yourselves and do whatever you'd like to. It's a free for all here, okay?
Demas, I'm still waiting for a date to come see you.
Awesome. Brad's gonna be down here next week and we're gonna finish up this co-starters.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if that's too soon. I think he plan on doing it next Thursday.
Hello, Lindsae. How are you?
Hello, everyone. How you doing, Brad?
I am doing great. We're going to give it one more minute. Got a couple people who have messaged me that they're hoping to be able to log on. We had 16 people register for this, so some of you are here, some of them aren't here yet. So we'll wait and see what happens here.
Tell them to join. They're gonna miss some important information now.
Well, we're going to record it. So, some of these, look, and it's, it's Friday morning. Some people are, slow to get up out of bed, or they started their weekend early, or they've been up since 6 doing stuff, or they just forgot, but it's no big deal. So, I think we'll kick it off at 10:05 and go from there.
Okay. Awesome.
Meanwhile, everybody, if you want to just throw your information, contact information into chat, that would be great. Just who you are, who you're with, and how to contact you. That we'll also use that for questions. So we'll ask Misty to kind of monitor chat for us. And as we get through the presentations, go from there. A lot of familiar faces here, a couple new friends, a couple new faces. So that's exciting. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Brad Attig. I'm the founder of Foundry Collective. Foundry Collective is a small nonprofit organization that works in the rural Pacific Northwest, primarily in Oregon, partnering with local organizations in community to really spur innovation and entrepreneurship. So we have we're helping facilitate co-starters programming here in rural Oregon. We also help with business plans using a platform called Idea Buddy. We have been working with Mentor Match Teen Entrepreneurship Program out of Enterprise, which is Stacy Green's program. And then we started out about 1.5 years ago as a Kiva trustee, and in February became a Kiva Hub, Kiva Oregon. I'm actually broadcasting to everybody from Burns, Oregon. We share a location here also in Burns with High Desert Partnership called 1899 Foundry, which is it's kind of our center for innovation and entrepreneurship out here in the frontier world. Biz Harney operates out of here, as well as our food systems work. And then for those of you unfamiliar with High Desert Partnership, we work both under a Business Oregon Technical Assistance Grant and a Business Oregon Economic Equity Investment Program funding for a 9 or 10 partner collaborative, which includes Biz Harney, Treasure Valley Community College, SBDC, Valkyrie, Launchpad Baker, Northeastern Oregon Economic Development District, Oregon Frontier Chamber of Commerce, and then us, which we then extend that into Heppner and Maupin, as well as right over the edge into Warm Springs as well with some of our work. So excited to have everybody here. Want to introduce Warren Galloway. Warren is the Kiva U.S. Senior Partnerships Manager. We're also joined with Lindsae Peele, who is our Kiva U.S. Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Manager. So I'm going to turn it over to the two Kiva experts, and welcome everybody.
Thank you, Brad. Good morning to everyone. Pretty excited about this opportunity for us to present Kiva to a new group of supporters in Oregon and on the kind of the West Coast. So I'm pretty excited. If you have any questions at any time, please go ahead and raise your hand or put a message in the chat. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I will start. As Brad mentioned, I am Warren Galloway. I'm the Senior Partnerships Manager. And then Lindsae, the incredible Lindsae Peele, will be following me, and she will cover the other half of the deck that we put together. This is some really good information. And Brad, please feel free to share it with everyone. And if there are no questions before we get started, I'll start the presentation. Are we all good? Any questions before we get started? Okay, let's get started. Okay, well, this is Lindsae and I dressed up with suits on, so. Okay, so the purpose behind having this roundtable is that Kiva has some initiatives that are coming around in early 2025 to support Native American communities. The organization is thrilled to try to deepen our impact with Native American entrepreneurs with a number of things that are coming on board. One is we now are received a grant for a loan match for all borrowers, but specifically with a focus on Native American women borrowers. That will happen in early 2025. We are also establishing new hub partnerships with Arizona State University. One is going to be called Dream Builder, the other one's called Dream Catcher. Those will take place in early 2025. We also are trying to be a little bit more culturally sensitive in the application process. So we actually have a pro bono firm that is working with us to ensure that our Kiva loan application is definitely culturally sensitive. There is potential technical assistance that we'll be able to provide to Native American borrowers, and our goal is to increase our loan volume to the population 10 times during the grant period. So what is the problem that Kiva is trying to solve? 40% of the U.S. entrepreneurs lack access to affordable capital. And if you're not familiar with Kiva, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, you will see that our loan program is extremely affordable. Kiva has done research and found that loans to women-owned businesses on average are 31% smaller than male-owned businesses that get loans. BIPOC-owned businesses are 3 times more likely to be rejected than non-minority-owned businesses. Also, we recognize that there's this group of entrepreneurs, what we call credit invisible. Literally 26 million individuals, 11% of our population, have no credit history, not enough credit history to procure a credit score. So here comes Kiva. One of the other problems that we have out there is when we talk about microlending, because the Kiva loan is a microloan. It can get fairly expensive, from 6 to 25%. Microloans typically charge a little bit higher interest rate because they take on a little bit more risk with borrowers. But what you're going to find about Kiva is that the Kiva microloan is a 0% interest microloan, no fees, no collateral, up to 15,000, up to 36 months. Kiva is very excited to know that we accept the fact that we are kind of at the bottom of the capital ladder. And for those individuals who cannot get funding from other locations or choose to come to Kiva directly, it's a good first loan to kind of build a track record and obtaining a loan for your business. And then once you pay it back, you will hopefully be able to move up that capital ladder to greater amounts and be able to show that you can pay back a loan for your business. We focus on social underwriting, character and that credit score. We look at business verification, background, fraud checks, debt to income ratio, some of the things that traditional lenders may or may not do, but we focus strictly on social underwriting. So how are we going to grow our partnerships? One of them is by us having a Kiva hub in Oregon, Foundry Collective. As Brad mentioned earlier, he was a trustee for a year and a half, and then decided earlier this year to become a Kiva hub. They're doing an incredible job of working to provide interest and fee-free loans without traditional underwriting criteria. Outside of Oregon, we have about 40 Kiva hubs across the nation. And the beauty of this call is that we have Lindsae on the call, who manages every single one of our hubs across the nation. And since she's come on board, they've done an outstanding job going into the community and supporting individuals who lack access to affordable capital. As I mentioned earlier, we're adding these initiatives with a Native focus, and we are definitely working to understand and adapt loan programs that fit the needs of Native borrowers. Our impact: 11,000 borrowers in 50 states and Puerto Rico. Almost 75 million has been lent through Kiva. 70%, 76% are receiving financing for the first time. And that's huge, because a lot of traditional financial institutions do not provide funding to startups. And so literally 76% of our portfolio borrowers are receiving funding for the first time. And 72% of our borrowers are to BIPOC borrowers. 66% of our borrowers are to women, 77% are to entrepreneurs of color. Here's a couple of interesting statistics as well. 60% of our Kiva borrowers were previously rejected for traditional financing, which means that if you go out and you try to get funding from a traditional financial institution and you get turned down, there's still a chance for you to get funding through Kiva. And that's huge. Because we are not credit score driven, Kiva borrowers, 50% of our Kiva borrowers have a credit score below a 650. I'm going to turn it over to Lindsae and let her talk about one of the loans that was funded for a Native American borrower.
Thank you so much, Warren, for that incredible introduction and for kicking off our presentation. Just to familiarize you all with who I am, Lindsae Peele, Entrepreneurial Ecosystem Manager here at Kiva. I've been at Kiva now for a little over a year and a half. I love sharing my Kiva journey with folks because I think it just makes such a difference. I've been in Kiva's ecosystem now, about 6 years. I started as a banking partner, and I would refer my clients to Kiva who would unfortunately get declined from traditional banking institutions, in which we all know that is more common than not. Fast forward, I transitioned out of banking into entrepreneurship, and my financial company was able to serve as a technical assistance provider for some of those Kiva borrowers right here in Baltimore in partnership with our Baltimore hub. And then early in 2023, I actually fully funded my own loan of the same exact amount that we see on this screen of $9,500. And that was an incredible experience. So I've been on all sides of the Kiva spectrum, including my internal role with the organization today. Pictured on the screen here, we have an example of one of our borrowers who were fully funded. They raised a $9,500 loan, and they were supported by 137 lenders on our platform out of Mesa, Arizona. So we're always grateful to be able to provide this level of support for our entrepreneurs, especially because specifically when it comes to, how lenders contribute and what types of lender support, a lot of our entrepreneurs struggle with having personal networks of their own. Sometimes their families are not in position to support their business. Sometimes their friends are not in the position to support their business, or their family and friends just might not be their target audience. So to see, of the millions of lenders that we have on our platform, to have 137 of them to support this business, it really does make a difference in the lives of our entrepreneurs, because they're able to see and experience the support of people all across the world who don't even know them yet, but who want to support their business. So this is just a snapshot of the many funded loans that you guys will get a chance to be a part of. Next slide, please, Warren. So we're going to walk you through just a little bit about the borrower process for your entrepreneurs, especially for those who are new to Kiva. So ultimately, when your borrower or entrepreneur that you're working with are interested in applying, we like to say they want to take at least about 30 minutes to an hour of their time, only because we want to make sure that one, we enter as much information correctly the first time as possible, but also two, we want to make sure that we're creating space for them to create an exceptional story. The biggest things about crowdfunding platforms and campaigns is that you want to have a great story and you want to have a wonderful photo, because when we have lenders, our 2 million plus lenders that are on our platform every day looking for loans to fund, the first thing that captures them is the photo. The second thing that captures them is the story of their entrepreneur once they're actually on their campaign page. So we want them to definitely take, as much time as needed. And one fun fact for us is that, with Kiva, we're always looking for organizations to partner with to support not only our borrowers, but also our partners. And this year we launched a partnership with OpenAI where our Kiva team members, as well as some borrowers and partners, were able to access ChatGPT Pro account completely complimentary. So some of our CAMs are supporting our entrepreneurs with creating those great stories by working smarter, not harder, right? Creating that baseline outline inside of ChatGPT, and then of course making those personal edits so that that story is personal. In between that, once they're submitted their application, it goes into what we call, CAM review, where our amazing capital access managers at our hub, between Brad and Misty, they are able to review those applications to get them through the pipeline, and then they actually matriculate through the Kiva review process. Once those applications have been completely reviewed and accepted, then we actually are ready to start the fundraising process. Now, upon accepting the loan amount and signing their term agreements, every borrower will have the opportunity to select when they want their campaign to start. Now, there are two parts to our campaign, especially because you heard Warren mention earlier, we don't have credit restrictions, we don't require collateral, we don't require any types of financial statements, there's no minimum credit requirement, there's no minimum revenue requirement for our entrepreneurs. So because we offer so many ways that entrepreneurs can tap into our services without the traditional barriers, we do want to have some form of character review through the underwriting process, really. And that's where our private fundraising period come in. This is where all of our entrepreneurs, they're assigned a certain number of people that they need to bring into their campaign, anywhere between, 5 to 40 people based on where they fall within the lending category of amount. So they can be assigned anywhere between 5 people or 15 people to bring into their campaign. And what happens is that once they reach the amount of people that they needed to bring within the campaign, then they automatically move from private into the public fundraising period. They have a total of 15 days to reach their private metrics, that amount of people. Again, private fundraising is not about the amount of money they raise, it's about the amount of people that they're able to bring into their campaign. Again, they can transition into public, whether it's day one if they have everybody, or it can take up to the full 15 days. I always like to tell my clients, our CAMs and our entrepreneurs, is that you want to start with the list of people that that you will send that link out to, because your campaign link, it is absolutely private during the PFP phase. So the only people who will see their campaign page is the people that they sent the link to. So based upon the amount of people that they have to bring in, I like to say, just a fun fact, make a list of that amount of people plus more, because not everybody will respond, not everybody will have the funds to contribute, and some people will just forget. So we want to make sure that they're able to get through that PFP phase. Once they get into public, they have another 30 days to fully raise the total dollar amount. They do have to raise the full amount of funds for those funds to be distributed. However, we have a 95% success rate when it comes to public fundraising. So I'm not too concerned about that, and you all shouldn't be either. Once they have fully funded their total loan within those 30 days, then we go into the loan dispersal period. So that takes anywhere up to 7 business days, and all of our transactions go through PayPal. So that's going to be another important effort, is to make sure that our audience, our entrepreneurs, are familiar with PayPal, the functionality, and can have an account, which is really important. Once their loan has been dispersed, they then enter into their repayment period. Our repayment period is anywhere between 12 and 36 months, depending on the total loan amount for that particular entrepreneur. We do not have any prepayment penalties or anything. So if they receive a grant or they receive some other type of funds, or they've been able to increase their cash flow and they want to pay off their loan early, they can absolutely do so. And the beautiful thing is that as a repeat borrower for Kiva, you automatically get approved for twice the amount up to our maximum amount. So let's just say you have an entrepreneur, their first time around, they come in, they're able to get approved for $6,000. They do well with their loan, they fully pay it back. They're able to come back to get a loan up to $12,000 simply because they were able to repay back their first loan of $6,000. So a lot of incredible opportunities for our entrepreneurs to get the funding that they need. Next slide, please. So this just walks you into, some of the solutions that we have, and even just thinking about some of the partnership opportunities. So as you heard Brad mention earlier, before they became a hub, they were one of our trustee partners. And as a trustee, it is a complementary relationship with Kiva, where you really just get to use our program and our rights and our name to enhance all of the incredible work that you guys are already doing. It's a simple application to be a trustee. And for the most part, as long as your organization is serving entrepreneurs in some progressive capacity and you are in alignment with our mission and vision, then you guys will absolutely get accepted. My team and I oversee all of our trustee partnerships as well as our hub partnerships. So if you guys came into the fold as additional trustees, then you guys will get direct support from us. You will have access to a trustee dashboard where you get to track your referral impact. You get to see how many loans have you been able to endorse and what is the status of those loans. But you also get an opportunity to endorse more people through your trustee dashboard. When you're a trustee, you will have a public page with Kiva, and it will display some general information about your organization, but also people will get to see all of the entrepreneurs that you've endorsed through your trustee platform, okay? Being a trustee is something that I definitely recommend for any organization that's serving entrepreneurs, because we always know that entrepreneurs need access to capital, and it's a free way to make sure that that direct connection can actually produce great fruit for your entrepreneurs. Just like many of you in serving entrepreneurs, sometimes we send that warm referral between the entrepreneur and the banker, but sometimes we never get that follow-up on whether or not they were able to secure that funding. With Kiva and as a trustee, you are an active part of that process for them. So you'll be able to know where they are in their stage of application, but also when those funds have been dispersed, and to be able to support them through the post-loan dispersal process. We also have another opportunity where organizations are able to provide a level of partnership for us, and that is through our loan matching, which we are really kind of introducing to you guys today. There's going to be a large loan matching opportunity in 2025 that our Native American borrowers get to take advantage of. All types of organizations and corporations are eligible to create loan matching accounts with us here, especially for the Kiva U.S. program. There are really kind of two ways that this happens, but the primary way for Kiva to actually manage that relationship for you, we would just require a minimum of $25,000. That can be a contribution from your local city agencies, foundations, anyone who says, hey, I want to give you guys some money to help support the entrepreneurs in your community. We can create a dedicated matching account for you guys, where every time someone contributes a loan to one of your entrepreneurs, funds from your loan matching pool will then match the dollar amount that they have given. So for example, if there is a 2-to-1 match on the platform, if I lend $25 to one of your entrepreneurs, then from your matching pool, another 50 would then come into play from your pool of funds to help fund that loan much, much faster. So we have a lot of great opportunities for loan matching programs. We have a number of trustees and a number of hubs who have their own individual loan matching programs for their their specific area, but we also have a lot of national programs that also provide loan matching tools for our hubs and our partners. Now this year, one of the biggest matches that we've had in a long time was through our partnership with Capital One. They provided us with a substantial amount of funds where we've been able to give and distribute over $1 million already in matching funds to the entrepreneurs this year alone on our platform. So we're always looking for additional loan matching partners. So if you guys are interested in that, or even just want some additional information, we're more than happy to share that with you as well. Next slide, please. Awesome. So I shared just a little bit about how loan matching works, but the biggest thing that I think is the most important for you guys to know is that you all get to also track those metrics. So whenever we have loan matching accounts, which we call our managed lending, you guys get a monthly report to show how your funds have been deployed. You get to see how much of the funds have come back, and then you also get to decide, what do we want to do with those funds after our loan matching period is over. Typically, our loan matching relationships go up to about 3 years. It can be longer than that if you'd like, but that's usually the average term for how often they want those funds to rotate. So what that means is, let's just say you have a $50,000 managed lending account. We have that relationship over a 3-year period. Let's just say year one, all of it is deployed, but within that 3-year term, as money is paid back by your entrepreneurs and is then put back into your managed lending account, those funds get to then go out again as much as possible based on how much of the funds are being put back into the account. And that happens on a rotating cycle up to that 3-year point, or whatever the contract term looks like. And you really have two options at that point. Do we want to allow those funds to reset and just create a new agreement? Well, really 3 options. You can decide to withdraw the funds at the end of the term, or you could decide to say, hey, we want to donate these funds to Kiva. And of course, you get that tax write-off with that. So loan matching is another really great way to support entrepreneurs in your local community, and you can separate it. You can have loan matching accounts supporting specifically gender-based roles. So you can say, hey, I only want to support men. I only want to support women. You can have it based on zip code, based on city. So let's just say, with our hub at Foundry Collective, they serve a number of counties. Let's just say one of those counties, the Economic Development Agency, say, hey, we have an extra $25,000 we want to give you guys to support the entrepreneurs. We can set the parameters up within the managed lending system that those matching dollars are only supporting those entrepreneurs from that specific county. So whatever those zip codes are for that county, we would attach that to the managed lending requirements. So we can get as creative as you guys like. Sometimes it's industry-based. Sometimes it's geographic location based, but it's really an open opportunity, and you kind of let us know how you'd like to support the entrepreneurs within your local area. Next slide, please. And then again, about some of the details that Warren has already covered. So we have, just a fun fact, we have some very important meetings that are coming up between now and the top of January to finalize the specific logistics around this matching fund. This is really kind of an introduction to get you guys interested and familiar. For those of you who are looking to become trustees, to also assist in this partnership, we definitely want to make sure that you have the opportunity to apply to be a trustee and to go ahead and get you started in onboarding in that perspective, so that when the funds do become available, we already have you guys in our system to be able to support. Because you guys have a hub within the state of Oregon, all of your loans will flow through Brad and Misty and their team over there. So you guys will have a lot of direct support from Kiva, from our hub. And then our entrepreneurs will have you guys also as additional trustees to provide support with their application and growing and building their business. There will be a minimum of a 1-to-1 match. Our ratios do go up to 1 to 10. We will be able to determine what that looks like once we have some of our finalized meetings on how we will kickstart that. And we do know that the dollar amount of this particular matching fund will be at least 7 figures. So we're really excited for this opportunity. It will be available for a minimum of 3 years. So we want to make sure that we have as many Native American entrepreneurs who are coming through our pipeline as possible, because what we do is we collect data, right? How many entrepreneurs are we funding? How many entrepreneurs are even interested, so that we can create, an impactful report for our funders to hopefully get them to say, hey, yes, we'll do this again. So we're definitely, leaning on you guys to be a big contributor to this initiative by bringing your entrepreneurs in. It's not going to cost you anything to do that, but, time and energy and the effort to share the gospel of Kiva. Next slide, Warren. And that is it. These are the names that you guys can get familiar with. Our awesome director, Eli Turner, he's not here with us today, but he definitely sends his regards. You have Warren, our senior partnerships manager, and myself. I also put in the chat Warren and I's email addresses, as well as our scheduling link, if you guys are interested in having a conversation with us. I will also drop in the link to apply to be a trustee if you are interested, and if you think that you just want to ask a couple of questions first, or if you want to take a look at some of our trustee resources first, that's totally fine. We're definitely here to support wherever you are in your journey. I also know it's the holiday season, so some of us don't want to make a whole bunch of commitments right now, but we are here, and I'm super excited to partner with you guys. Now I'll turn the floor over back to Brad to help facilitate some Q&A.
Phoebe, yeah, we will take this, clean up this recording over the next few days and get it out with the deck to everybody that signed up for this, who didn't make it, and to everyone who attended. So you can help share this out. And we're hoping, one, great presentation. Thank you so much. And I think even more important, thank you so much to the whole Kiva team for working on this kind of match program. Okay. This is a big amount of money to get out into your matching program, and specifically for your tribal entrepreneurs to make this happen. And I know how much work it takes, because you mentioned a county. So I'm sitting in Harney County. We've been working with Harney County, who has they have a couple loan funds, which they haven't been taking advantage of. No one's applied for them. They really haven't they've just been sitting there, and we're working with them to figure out how to create a matching program specifically for Harney County entrepreneurs. So, it's a lot of work to explain, educate, and articulate how this program works and how important it is. And I can't even begin to stress, the matching programs are where the magic happen on this, okay? The magic for someone in a rural community, say Maupin, where Paula Latassa recently funded for $15,000 for her Gear Up Maupin business, which is an electric bike rental business. The 2X match from Capital One, okay? That's big money. It helped, and it came in from outside of rural Oregon into rural Oregon. It was spent there, as well as also your lending teams. Okay. So, the climate activist group, the climate pilots, they jumped all over electric bikes, and they also jumped all over the compost chick up in North Powder, who's helping keep food waste out of our landfills. And then also really interesting with the payout, I saw that Liz with the compost chick got her payout 2 days ago. And yesterday she posted a video of the new Bobcat that she bought with that she can now run around and use to turn all her compost. So it didn't take long for those funds to get dispersed and spent, and for a little Bobcat, one of those little things to show up at the compost. I did want to do a quick presentation, but are there other questions? Anybody else want to jump in, have any comments or questions? We'll come back to Warren and Lindsae at the end of this, but we have a small presentation also really about what our hub is here. So let me just get that going.
The only question you have, Brad, is that we will be sending out the slide deck and the recording, and that was something that they asked. I think that's the only question you have in chat.
That one was taken care of. Let me just get my share going on here.
I believe Gordon raised his hand.
Yeah, I did. Thank you guys. And good presentation, Lindsae. My question, first one I had, do businesses ever help with underwriting, as in, like Brad had a good example there with the bikes, but I was thinking like, like maybe somebody wants to be a butcher and they want to start a butcher business. Do other businesses like ranchers or, grocery stores, do they fund during that crowd or the underwriting process? Because it said friends or family, but do businesses ever support in that way?
You mean during the private fundraising period where you just need to get? Absolutely. We see a lot of just interested parties that they happen to be mentioning they're doing a Kiva loan raise from during the private party. That's like, oh, we want to support you. We want to make sure you go live on the platform with that. There's nothing, they're all individual loans. So it's not like a business is investing. It would be the owner of that business setting up a Kiva account and loaning, making that loan. But absolutely. I think the biggest key is to cast the widest net possible, especially in rural, where these businesses have so much community impact as well. Okay. Starting a business in rural usually means it's a business that doesn't exist in rural, and most of the community has a vested interest in seeing that business start, launch, and succeed, because it adds to missing elements that you might have in a small rural community.
Yeah, the elements, I was thinking of like myself, doing a mechanic, and let's say I'm helping other organizations sprout up, women organizations or whatever, and the hope is that if I could invest into this crowdfunding or the underwriting part, and in the hopes that maybe they sprout up as a business, and in turn I am able to help them, or we're able to help each other from business to business. So thank you for that, Brad.
Yeah.
The other question, you were saying, Lindsae, that there's preferences that you could select. So like, let's say I was a millionaire and I wanted to help fund this. I'm not a millionaire, by the way, but let's say I wanted to, for this region in Warm Springs, Warm Springs Community Action being a community development organization, is there like preferences that I could pick this area or maybe tribal members from the Warm Springs?
So Lindsae is not on here, so I'll answer your question. The answer is yes. You would identify the criteria for those who will be the recipients of your match. And so we will work very closely with you to make sure that that funding that you're putting up to support entrepreneurs who are coming through Kiva, that it goes to the specific borrowers that you want to support.
Yeah. Okay. And I think also important to point out is that Gordon is the administrator there running the individual development account program in Warm Springs, which is another huge funding mechanism that's making a big difference in a lot of our communities. And we're going to be working on IDAs today here, Gordon, today and tomorrow in Burns, okay, to try to get all those business plans over to you so we can, because Warm Springs Community Action Team is also supporting an IDA program here for the Burns Paiute Tribe. But, you can start to look at also unbundling of this. So you could, part of this is understanding having a business plan, having a good business sense, and being able to say, hey, Warm Springs Community Action Team might be able to go out. WESCAT could potentially get a grant to set up a match program specifically for tribal members launching businesses there. And then you're offering all this additional technical assistance, and you start to bundle your IDA funds with a Kiva loan. And now you could make some significant inroads there. I think, and to really start some even bigger businesses. And I'll be out there next Thursday too, so we can chat about this.
Yay. Thank you. Oh, and last question here. Warren, this is probably for you, maybe, or Brad, whoever. Do businesses or potential businesses, do they ever fault or fail at their business, and what happens with Kiva during that phase? Or what does that look like?
So I'll let Lindsae answer that, because her team is responsible for businesses that happen to default on their loan.
I'm so sorry. My connection got a little wonky. So I think I was catching most of your question. Did you ask, do businesses default on their loans?
Yeah, yeah, and this is what maybe what the process is of that or what it looks like.
Yep, so that definitely happens. So just point of correction. So the operations team for Kiva U.S., they manage all of our borrower repayments and default management. But as a part of the delinquency management process, borrowers are definitely receiving communication from us over a span of months before we even get to the phase of default. So we will try to reach out on a Kiva U.S. team. In our hub markets, we're encouraging our hubs and our trustees to get involved to help understand what the barriers are for those entrepreneurs so that we can help close the gap. Sometimes it's resources. Sometimes the business is just closed. Sometimes they need kind of bridge funds to help them get through the next cycle. So our primary approach is really to understand what is happening so that we can then try to provide resources and support, and then ultimately, of course, help to recuperate some of those funds, because we'd like to make sure that we enforce the need of repaying back these loans, because it's not like these are funds from an institution, you know, that gets to write them off, right? This is money from everyday people like you and I, right, who are contributing to these loans. So we really, really, really want our entrepreneurs to definitely be paying back. But when they don't, or if they don't, we do have other measures to assist. So we do send out letters now. We just launched our direct mail campaign, which has definitely helped to bring in some payments from some of those entrepreneurs who are not as tech savvy, or who forget, or who don't check their emails. We definitely have phone calls that go out. Some of our CAMs make visits in person, but we also too, we have a loan restructuring program that we just launched within the last 60 days or so, where we're able to kind of help restructure some of those payments for those entrepreneurs so that they can make sure that they can get back on track. So yes, it does happen, but we definitely do our part to assist as much as possible.
Thank you, guys. And in the broad scheme of things that in my mind, I really feel like our community, and this may be true, Brad would be the expert down in Burns, our eastern side of Oregon, that I feel like our businesses that we help always, you know, there's kind of like a cohort of them, and they always will help the next group. And so when they become businesses, then they help the next group. And it's something I don't think we track here much, but it's something that I think we should, you know, we should be helping, supporting them, and showing them resources like you guys have, and Brad and us as IDA community development, that, you know, we're helping each other along. It's just the Native American, you know, it's just in our customs to do that. So thank you, guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a quick presentation on the hub, and then we'll jump back into some more questions. So I just want to throw this in. You should be able to see my presentation now, I'm assuming, and we'll just go into slideshow so you can see. It's a little slow here. Got it? Okay. Everybody can see my screen? Somebody nod your head. Okay, thanks, Gordon. So anyway, we are Kiva Oregon. So when we became a trustee about 2 years ago, and we started leaning into the Kiva U.S. program, then the hub conversation started happening, and it was different because a lot of hubs are based around a community. You know, you'll have like Kiva Little Rock or something, and we were like, hey, we're working in rural. We can't really have like a Kiva Burns. It's going to be pretty small. So we bundled, and Kiva worked with us to bundle several hundred rural zip codes together. We're also servicing people in other areas, just so you know. So we have helped people in Corvallis and helped people in Albany and other areas, because we just want to make sure that anybody that's underserved is getting the resources they need. But you know, a little bit about us, which I already mentioned, but I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, is this thing scrolling properly?
I don't know if anybody else sees this. There's like 2 blocks covering some stuff.
Yeah, I don't know why my screen sharing is doing something weird here. Let me see what's up. There we go. All right. It's the fact I think I've got a real weird internet connection here in Burns. Okay. So I'm going to share it this way and just go back to it. And it may not look as pretty, but you'll be able to see it. Okay. So you can see that one, right? Okay, so you know we serve this with this purpose, and this again is we're tying in with our local
Brad,
community.
we're staying in black box.
All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to share my presentation, so we're on MyNet here, and MyNet is not always the greatest. I'll try one more time.
So
One other.
Email it to me and I'll share it.
Or try it the first way that you tried it. You just have to move your Zoom box function. So the blank spaces that we were seeing were
Yeah.
your Zoom controls. So you can just slide those over and we should be good.
Can you see this?
Yep,
Yeah.
we can see the screen. We see that you're moving your
Beautiful.
controls over.
Beautiful. So we're kind of making do here. Okay. So again, we're serving this role as a hub to really coordinate, with our small businesses and also our community organizations, our partners at Kiva, and even, we're out here promoting that you should become a Kiva lender. And we're kind of the boots on the ground for the Kiva U.S. program here in Oregon, and particularly in our rural area. But I want to talk a little bit about impact. Okay. As of last week, we've helped facilitate 20 loans in Oregon for $167,000. 65% of those have gone to female entrepreneurs. 68% of those have been 1 year in business or less. 8 of those are graduates from our Co-Starters program, which some of you are familiar with, which is an international startup program, which we brought to rural Oregon. It's a 10-week cohort-based program that really gets people prepared to start and launch their business with a fairly high degree and level of success. And 16% of our loans have been BIPOC led loans. What's interesting about it is you can see that our loans are kind of all over the place. Okay, agriculture, childcare, cleaning services, food production, furniture making, health, restaurant caterers, retail. These loans are working for almost every sector out there. And then also we have people who have not previously applied for credit, people who previously applied for credit, received it, and even previously applied for credit and not received that credit. And then go through here and kind of look a little bit, we talked a little bit about credit scores, and we have some individuals who have filed bankruptcy and have had their bankruptcies discharged. We have some people with very low credit scores and individuals with high credit scores. So this ability to service our underserved individuals or people who may not have the most pristine credit or have had a bankruptcy or for whatever reason is very important to this program. A couple of things I stole out of Kiva's most recent report was really that 4 out of 5 borrowers reported improved business success since taking their loan. Okay, this helps our small businesses not feel that daily stress if they have to do something to generate revenue today or tomorrow. They get a little bit of a buffer. And when you have a little bit of a buffer, you're able to work on your business and not necessarily in your business. Another stat that I think this is really important is over half of the borrowers said they would have faced personal hardships had they not received their loans. That means they would have gone without something else to keep that business going, or they would have had to stay in their old job and keep working longer in order to start their startup business. And so these are 2 really important things that have a lot to do with quality of life and the opportunity for these businesses to succeed. And I think they need to be mentioned. Then also, 3 out of 5 borrowers feel that Kiva has enhanced their chances of achieving whatever their primary business goal. So it could be increasing revenue, it could be getting additional financing, it could be expanding their customer base, or their business expansion. This is a lavender farms in Foster, Oregon. These are a couple educators, special ed educators who had retired, had started growing some lavender and wanted to grow their business. They donate a portion of their income to Special Olympics. So this Kiva loan is helping them with their encore entrepreneurship lifestyle, as well as making impacts even farther beyond that. Lindsae did a good job really talking about how do you apply for the loan? So some potential loan uses, buying equipment, hiring an employee, upgrading space, working capital. I've got Karen here from Nye Beach Montessori. This helped her hire her second teacher to better serve families. She was the only Montessori educator at Nye Beach Montessori, which limited their ability to service. They couldn't service more than 10 kids. Obviously, when you want to bring in your 11th kid, that doesn't pay for you to hire your second employee. You need to get to 15 or 16 children. So her loan helped her hire her employee, get them onboarded, and then start to add more children. I think they're at 18 or 19 children now, and she might be looking to actually bring on board one more. Jilly Beans, a $9,500 loan to help start an ice cream store and candy shop in Walport. Population, I think about 850. Helped her buy her equipment. Also, Amy from Jilly Beans, because of her Kiva loan, actually had people reach out to her and offered to check out an angel investor that loaned her another $19,000 at a very competitive interest rate, personal loan, to help her buy the rest of the equipment that she wasn't planning on buying when she launched. She was going to go without that equipment, and then she was able to add that equipment. So she got an espresso machine, a few things. Now, if you want the best affogato in the Oregon coast, you're going to go here. She got that espresso machine, which was at stage 2 or stage 3, because of her Kiva loan, drew enough attention to have someone else come in and step in. And then, of course, we have Misty, who has been in this call. She is our capital access manager. So when someone comes into our hub, when someone jumps in and shows up, they start getting direct help with Misty. Now, one of the things is you can certainly go directly to Kiva and you can apply for a Kiva U.S. loan. You also can go to Kiva Oregon and start in our pre-application process, where we will kind of help you collect paperwork and help you with your story and help you with your photograph to make sure, as Warren and Lindsae said, it's really important for a good story and a good photograph. So we help kind of pre-loan to there and help you get everything you need. So when you get ready to go to the Kiva site and do your actual loan application, you have everything you need so you can bang through it as quickly as possible and have a better chance of funding. I will say this, every single person that's come out of private fundraising for us has funded. Okay. We had one person who didn't get out of private fundraising, but the week before they went into private fundraising, they had gotten married and did a money tree. And so all of their friends and family had already given them money for their wedding. So they're going to come back in 6 months and probably do that again. Just a little bit about what we're trying to do, what we do with the hub, and how we are working. Not only we're working both pre-application, and then once you get that application in, Misty is helping guide you through to make sure that you get underwritten and you go live. Warren, anything? Anybody? Any questions? I
do want to say that once we get the final details for this new Native American match, we will share it with Foundry Collective as well as everyone who's participating today or who could not participate. We're excited to get the details so that we can share this information. So we definitely will be getting it out to everyone.
And I think it makes sense, Warren and Lindsae, to do another one of these, get another one on the calendar in January. Okay. There were a lot of people that wanted to attend this, but it's December and they're just coming out of Thanksgiving. And so I think once we have the next round, a showcase kickoff, we can get it out to more people and promote it more that way.
Absolutely.
That would be great. Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, no, we're happy to. I'll even figure out how to do screen sharing better. Anything else? Mark, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, thanks, Brad. Appreciate it. Mark Atata here with WaFd Bank. Brad mentioned the Co-Starters sponsorship. It's a full education curriculum for emerging small business owners who basically have an idea and want to take it to and build it to fruition. And Brad, I actually wanted to ask you a question related to that. Probably early yet. I don't know if we have a large enough sample of businesses that have gone through the program, but are you seeing any higher percentage of people who are getting their financing if they've graduated Co-Starters versus the ones who haven't gone through Co-Starters?
I can tell you this, and Mark is with WaFd Bank, and WaFd Bank has stepped in a large partnership with FinSync, which has purchased co-starters to fund co-starters programs throughout their region where they have co-starters programs, which has made the ability for us to offer many more co-starters programs here in Oregon. So that's been a huge partnership. And then, of course, we're talking with Mark about match lending programs and everything else as well. But you know, the fact that what I believe is that if you're thinking about starting a business, so if you look at the number of people that we have about 13 people that were starting their business, and the other 7 had existing businesses. If you're looking at starting a business, if you complete co-starters, if you complete the program and graduate, and co-starters has all of these stats, at the end of 1 year, 90% of those businesses are still in business. So I think what we're going to see is higher success rates, opportunity to pay back more. We do encourage people to mention in their Kiva that they graduated from the co-starters 10-week program as part of some of the work that they've done to get ready to start and launch their business. They're better prepared. We don't necessarily know the numbers if that's going to, they're going to be more successful because the program proves that you're more successful if you've taken the program. And 2, I don't know if it will help more of them fund because everybody is funded so far. But I do know that a year from now, we're going to see that those businesses, I believe, will have been more successful on their on their growth and repayment. And hopefully they're repaying back and getting a second Kiva loan because they're ready to expand. Gordon.
Thanks. Maybe the Oregon or the federal one, or even the bank, as people get Kiva loans, does this help build credit for them or any kind of stuff like that, that they're able to come back later, maybe after they get their start? And,
thanks, Phoebe, for jumping in.
Yeah. But yeah, does it help them like down the road? Let's say I did a Kiva loan, started a ranch, bought some cows. It was successful, but maybe I need to build something really big for them. Is that how it works?
Absolutely. So we like for our clients to actually come in and to be willing to climb the capital access ladder, right? We want them to graduate from Kiva to CDFI loans and SBA loans and traditional bank loans. So we absolutely, encourage that process, and we offer business credit reporting. So Kiva does not impact or touch their personal credit at all. It does allow them the opportunity to opt into business credit reporting.
Yeah. So there's actually during your application process a checkbox where you can say, I want my repayments reported to the credit agencies. You're getting this loan through your business, so you can start to establish business credit right off the bat. Now, I think I was looking, we have some metrics on that in the back end, and I think about half of our borrowers have taken advantage of that. I'm not sure if some of those, I know some of that was new, and I'm not sure that we've done a great job promoting that out to everybody. But, I would highly encourage all of our small businesses that are launching to get their business recorded, because we know, look, banks can lend based under certain circumstances. It's not that banks are bad people. Okay. I was a vice president with Citibank for a couple of years. Okay. I know that there's lending restrictions that are different for banks, that are different for CDFIs, and that are different for other organizations. But what we want you to be able to do is if you're starting a business, you're opening a checking account, you should be building your relationship with that bank at that point, letting them know what you're trying to do, They may not be able to lend money to you then, but sharing your business strategy and your plan at the very beginning with them and then giving them updates could potentially make you bankable earlier with a more traditional style bank, where that's where a line of credit or some of these other things, which might be very important, particularly when we talk about a lot of rural businesses that are pretty seasonal because of our weather and tourism and everything else, could help you become bankable in 2 years versus 3, or maybe 1 year versus 2. So there's as this first step of the micro capital ladder, we want to get you to step 2 and step 3 as fast as possible, because that's where you're growing and scaling, and that's where you're really starting to have the impact in your rural communities and changing your lives, running successful businesses that are generating revenue. In rural Oregon, just so you know, people that own businesses make on average 15 to 20% more than people that work for someone else in rural Oregon. So if you want to talk about increasing your income and your you know, and things happening, start a small business.
Thank you.
Anything else? Anyone else? I see, Lindsae, you answered Demas's question, right? Okay, thank you.
Hey, Brad, I do want to concur with the information you just covered in terms of establishing kind of a relationship with a traditional financial institution. I'm a former banker as well as
Yeah, go ahead.
we understand how important that is, that even though you're coming to Kiva to get funding, that you do need to establish a banking relationship, because as you climb that capital access ladder, you want to be able to one day be able to walk into your bank and say, hey, I think I'm prepared now to apply for a small business loan through your financial institution. And yes, I am a current customer, and I've had these products, I've been building a relationship, and it all plays in putting them into the best position to hopefully be able to get a yes approval for a loan with a traditional financial institution down the line.
And in Oregon, we have some great programs to help make people whole with bank loans. So we have the capital access team through our small business development center that can often step in and guarantee 40% of a loan. We have Business Oregon. We have 20 loan officers with Business Oregon. I mean, we have a number of Business Oregon loan officers with 20 different loan programs where they can step in and help backstop on some loans where maybe Bank of Greater Eastern Oregon will cover this much, and between those capital access programs with SBDC or with Business Oregon or with our economic development, you know, Greater Eastern Oregon Economic Development or Northeastern Oregon, they have some loan programs too. So this ability to get bankable sooner is a real critical thing for growing and success. And I agree. Well, we're at our 11:03 mark, which was when we said we would quit. I left it open till 11:30, but I wasn't sure how many questions we would have. But unless there's other questions, I saw Mark Thompson here. Mark, I don't know if you're listening in still or if you were out. Mark is with Indian Dispute Resolution Services, does some, we've worked with Mark on helping bring some co-starters into some of their programs. They've been working with co-starters, and they also do a lot with some of our tribal entities in Northern California, some of the smaller tribes there as well. So anything else? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone.
Mark's having really bad internet, but anyway, I did mention you, Mark. Okay. Bye-bye.